One second. Yes, we are live now on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being with us, Elena, the founder of Match Maison. Today on our LinkedIn Live, the first one of 2024, we're close to Valentine's Day, and I'm so excited to have you with us. I met you by chance at a networking event, so many of those, and I felt we matched in our purpose to help people either find jobs or find love, but find direction, find realize their full potential. I think in many ways. And I was really excited about what you were building and are currently developing this concept of offline matchmaking. Um, let's go native. Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
community, right? Tell me, why don't you
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself to our viewers? Thank you for your time, Elena.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Rebecca. I'm so glad to be here and discuss matchmaking today with you. So, also just from my side, I founded Match Maison last year. It's a quite young company, and we really had a steep growth also because everyone has enough and is fed up with the dating apps and also with the online dating.
Yeah.
So it's really about this personal approach to dating and the focus on the key life values. And yeah, I'm really excited and look forward to chat with you.
So finding love with a matchmaker. Um, I know that you're also working at the Schreiner Institute, or you're doing this in parallel. So I suppose that your interactions with whether it's diplomats, whether it's industry leaders, whether we're talking about yeah business thought leaders, right? You're able to access a population that is perhaps underserved when it comes to matchmaking because they're busy and their very complex calendars don't necessarily allow for much dating time. So what is the secret? Is it some sort of end-to-end service that you provide? Tell us a little bit more.
Yes, so it's true. I started part time, but now since last year, I really do it full time, only Match
Okay,
Maison. So it's really it is because like it's really such a big demand also in the market, and then
that's
we went also into
amazing.
the press, and it's a real whole process. So if
Yeah,
someone is interested in being matched, then they come to us. We first have a discussion with them. We talk about their personality. We really look at the person first. Who is the person, and
yeah,
then also what qualities is the person seeking in a partner.
right.
So we really check these qualities. But what is more important is also the key life values of the person,
Right.
because if the key life values match with their partner, then there will be also a long-term relationship success, because this is most important. It's not about matching the interests. So if someone plays golf and then the other person plays also
Yeah,
golf,
plays golf too,
that's
and
yeah, it means nothing. So it's really about the key life values.
yeah,
And we also do a whole analysis, not only of the relationship goals and the key life values, but also on the relationship patterns. So we also look at the past of a person, so he or she can also understand him or herself better, how they act in a relationship. And this will also help for future relationships, maybe
yeah.
to identify a negative relationship pattern, but not necessarily. It can also just be to understand yourself in the relationship better.
So tell me a little bit about this values assessment because I run values assessment for career coaching, right? So
Yeah,
I really realized in the beginning, I thought, no big deal. But it is because eventually you're going to find yourself in that pattern. Like you always end up with that dominant or micromanager type of leadership. And you're like, damn, I did it again. How do you help people escape those patterns, understand them, and also how do you assess their values? I'm curious.
Yeah, so we have the 5 key life values that are more relevant for relationships. So,
Okay.
and this your beliefs around children and family. So,
Yeah.
for instance, how family oriented are you? Do you want to spend your holidays also with your family or your extended family? How
Yeah.
important are children to you? So, this is one of the life values. Then, also, kind of the opposite would be career or goes along with it. How
Yeah.
important is career for you? Is it more important than anything else?
Yeah.
Or do you want to have this work-life balance? This should really align with your partner. Then
Yeah.
we also look at the beliefs around religion, finances, and then your beliefs around fitness and health. Because,
Yeah.
for instance, if you are really focusing on a healthy lifestyle and then you would have a partner who would not have this lifestyle, who
Yeah.
would
And then
also be
you're
overweight,
stuck.
yeah, this wouldn't fit well together.
No.
So you really want to have someone who fits on your key life values, who has the same beliefs around those values. And it's important to have the three you prioritize these key life values, and the three that are most important to you, they should align with your partner. So
The
so
three
that's
most important.
that's
Okay.
and how we assess it is through questions.
Yeah.
So these questions, they are also proven to be scientifically proven, so they are really research based questions, and they all address these beliefs around these key life values.
Got it. So the top three, and
Yeah.
that's how you are able to make a match, and that's a human made match. There's no applicant tracking system involved. This is very manual as a. But so when we talk about matches, what is the probability? How many matches? What is normally the cycle that a client will follow when they engage with you?
Yes, so in matchmaking, it's usually a yearly contract,
Yeah.
and all the success rates, they are based on a yearly contract because, I mean, dating is a whole process. It's not, you
Yeah.
don't find the person today and tomorrow you're in a relationship. It's really a process. You get to know someone. It's slowly. It takes time,
Yeah.
and then you also build up more and more trust. I mean, trust needs to be there. We can also talk about it later. So
Yeah.
this is really important for relationships, but it's a whole process over a year. You would receive an average one match per month,
Yeah.
and that match will be highly compatible. So that's really the opposite also to the online dating or the dating apps. For the dating apps, you would receive hundreds
So
of
many.
matches.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. And for offline matchmaking, you would receive fewer matches, but they are highly compatible because we did the whole analysis with you.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Exactly, yeah.
So the likelihood of you ending up with that match is high. So you have any data to support how people end up finding love, and how fast is it fast or
Yes,
slow? Tell us more.
yes. Yes, of course. So there's in average, people find love after match 5 to 6 in the matchmaking industry.
Okay.
And also the success rate is extremely high. It's for the yearly contracts over 85%. And
Wow.
this is, of course, because you have the criteria defined, and then you would only receive suggestions and proposals for matches that are
That
highly
yeah.
aligned with your values and also with your wishes. If you know, for instance, that you would like to have children in around 2 to 3 years, then we would match you only with someone who also aligns on the relationship goals.
That's wonderful. That saves
Yes.
a lot of time. On one hand, it feels like it's long, 5 to 6 match, that's 5 to 6 months, more or less, right? But on the other hand, imagine the time you're spending out there doing all this work by yourself, because having you is buying time to some extent, right? In that sense. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. People do save time. They don't need to go in the dating apps. They don't need to go online on online dating. So it's really, they really outsource their dating life to us.
Yeah.
That's really true, and they also save time from bad dates, so they wouldn't go on a date that is a time wasting date, because it's already pre-selected and pre-filtered, and we of course only do work only with people who are committed, so they really want to have a committed relationship.
Yeah,
And that's very important. That also changes the whole mindset, because if you're
yeah,
out there in the dating world, you would find everyone in on the whole
yeah,
platform. And for
yeah.
us, it's only those who are really
So
committed
you
who
have
have
to
like,
filter,
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
those who are serious about it and those who are not. So, in terms of like reach, are you global? How far would you go to find a match?
Yes, so far we are serving Switzerland and London, and now we also did expand to South Germany. So we also do have clients now in Munich because of the press. We people really read and heard about us, so that's why we already did expand prior than expected.
That's amazing. This
Yes,
is so
yes,
awesome, Elena. So it's a team effort. How are you structured in terms of your team? For example, I don't know if there's any psychologists on call. I mean, what can they expect from the journey?
yes, so it's really all science and research based. So I do have a certification as a science-based dating coach, and
Yeah,
this of course includes also psychological elements,
yeah,
because it's all based on psychological studies as well.
yeah,
So this is of course very important. But then we do work. We are a team of two currently,
yeah,
and we do work as well with over 30 ambassadors. So
yeah,
these are private individuals that support us in seeking high quality singles that are international minded, that are really authentic, and that really fit also to our clientele. So for
yeah,
us, our clients, they really appreciate also to have this intellectual conversations with their partners. They don't only want to have fun, they are really looking for someone on their level.
yeah,
So, and usually they, I mean, almost everyone, I would say 95%, they do have university degrees, and they are also open to live, or they have lived in different countries. So
yeah.
it's really,
Relocation has to be factored
yes,
in. Yeah.
it's really these people that we are specializing in, these wonderful people. And yeah, I do love to work with them.
So it's very niche. And I think you did mention at some point that you would take charge of the dating, like you would take them, well, the burden of finding the place. What are we doing on the first date? Do I pick you up? No. Do you come by yourself? All of these logistical um, frictions, right, that are removed because now I have my dating coach. Do people actually even use that service, and do they even say they have a dating coach or a dating, matchmaker? How is that? Tell me more.
Yes, so it's really everything, all the contracts and agreements, like the yearly membership contracts, they are all customized.
Yeah,
So and that's why also the services, they are customized to each client. So
yeah,
for instance, just this week, we also entered a new partnership with our personal style expert. And
yeah,
so also do have now the option to select this additional service with our membership. And so, as well, for instance, also the date organization is also an additional service, or also the search.
that
Where
people,
you
yeah,
want to search for your partner? Do you want to search in Switzerland only? Do you want to search in London only? Or do you want to go international? So, there, of course, we also do work with other matchmakers, because it's a very cooperative industry. And
yeah,
the ones we work with are the ones that we know also in person. And these are the ones that are also trained by the Global Love Institute. That's very
okay,
important to also keep the standards really high, and also have a same client, I would say client
base, yeah.
segment. So we all work with very international minded and successful clients.
So you said at the beginning, interest is not like an indication of future success when it comes to dating. And I heard that before where people say, yeah, duh, I also like to travel. Everybody likes to travel or read or run, right? So some of these elements, um, yeah, I mean, whereas values, not everybody has the same. And sometimes even, they change over time. They're not always static, I think, in our seasons, right? We have different life seasons, and we prioritize different things, I suppose. um how accurate is that? And do people end up changing during the program? No, 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 actually, that's not what I want this other type of person. How does that work?
Yes, so of course, in the beginning, it's really important to clearly define those criteria and also to clearly assess the person, and
Yeah,
also have a very honest communication with the client, because sometimes they are unsure. They, for
yeah,
instance, I was working with a client. He was unsure whether he still want to have children or not. So
yeah,
then it's really important to really also think about it and also imagine yourself, how will your life look like in 5 years? What is your perfect imagination? How should it
yeah,
be? And then if you go and look forward and to really envision your relationship, how it should be in 5 years, and also how your life should be, how your career should be, and then how the relationship should be embedded in that,
yeah,
then you could get answers. And also you do get answers through the questions that I do ask. So this is really important. And of course, personality may change over time. That's also scientifically proven, but only slowly. So it's not that personalities change drastically in
no,
a
I
short.
mean that they change
Yes,
their initial
yes, yes,
ask, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. But this could happen. Yes, of course, if they haven't clearly thought about it,
yeah,
or um, then it might happen, of course, that they find out someone else would fit better to them, and then we adjust also the search criteria. This
yeah.
this could happen for sure. Yes, that's why this feedback process is always very important with
After
us.
the dates they have, why did I
Yes,
like this person? Why did I not like this person? Right?
yes,
Yeah,
exactly. So we always check in, how was the date,
yeah,
and also if the date went well, we do check in a week later, and then we kind of communicate with the client how often he wants to have these check-ins or she wants to have these check-ins.
yeah. You're not going to counsel them, but you're going to see them through. Like, for example, in my case, once people are placed in their jobs, I kind of disappear, but then sometimes they stay in touch because of the first 3 months. It's always a bit delicate, so you have that kind of service too
To stay in touch, yes,
for the
yes,
first few
yes.
months of
I
the
mean,
relationship.
basically, it's the whole year because it's a yearly
Oh, yeah,
contract.
yeah, yeah,
So they have us for the whole year, and they can ask us questions that they want to ask us on dating tips, on relationship
to
advice.
styling
So
to
it's yes, it's really, they can really ask us everything, and it's also very personal work. So I
yeah,
am usually also in contact with clients via WhatsApp. So it's very personal and
yeah.
trustful relationship.
You mentioned a coaching that was evaluating also people's attachment styles and love languages when we spoke first, and that was really quite. I thought, beyond matchmaking, there's also some level of coaching that you're providing there.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Yes, yeah, this is also very individual and really customized for every client. So, for
Yeah,
instance, if a client would come to me and would say that he never had a relationship because he's really afraid of relationships,
yeah,
then it's important to find out with the client why has he these thoughts, and then really dig deeper with the client to help him realize where these thoughts and beliefs come from,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
also how he could actually change the thoughts and beliefs. So it's a very customized coaching as well. So you would define with every client also the coaching goals,
Yeah.
and you can work on that with the client. Or for instance, in other cases, it might be that there's a lot of emotional baggage from last relationships.
Yeah.
If you're still angry or sad about your ex, then it's important to really work also on that. And there's different techniques that you can then also use. Some techniques work better for some person and others don't. So
Yeah.
this is really important, that you are ready for a relationship, to also guarantee that the new relationship will have a chance and success. Because if
Yeah.
you're still thinking about your ex in a negative or
Yeah.
positive way, it's not good for any new relationship.
So about being present in the now, and also like reframing beliefs in a way, because we do carry them. No one goes that deep in matchmaking, I must say. I think this is quite a very end-to-end process, right, where you really reframe perhaps their romantic lives. And I was talking about this with a friend who's probably watching us now. We were discussing, like, in general, we are feeling attracted to someone, and then we make that work in our lives and we try to fit that. But what if we reversed that process and thought about it in a more intentional way, proactive way, maybe not reactive, where we are designing what we want and then attracting that into our lives, right? Somehow.
Yes, exactly. It's really true that, of course, opposites do attract, but opposites don't keep people together. So it's really, because if something is the opposite of you, then it's very exciting because you don't know it and it's
Yeah.
new. But it won't hold the relationship in long term. So that's why it's really important to be clear about your values and also your criteria, and then from that you can really date with purpose.
Yeah, I like this concept, dating with purpose. I think
Yes,
that's
yes,
that's new.
yes.
um, so you also said that, I think maybe this is the surprising part for me. Most of your clients will be female clients, and I was surprised to hear that. Is it because what I hear, right? I mean, I don't have too much time to date these days, but what I hear is there's a constant and recurrent, um, I guess maybe I can describe it as a different like commitment level from the ladies versus men. So I think ladies expect commitment from the get go, and men, kind of want to ease into it more gently. So how are you able to sort that puzzle, or that, I think this is a pretty complex equation to solve.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. So it's really true. In the beginning, we had more female clients.
Yeah.
That's why we did reach out then more to males and also to men, actually. So at the moment, we do have around 50-50%. So now it's approximately even, and I think there might be always a little bit a non-equilibrium, because when you do reach out, we actively do recruiting, of course, on the passive members, and we also do search actively for members or potential matches, mainly via social media,
Mhm.
mainly via LinkedIn also, because there we also do see that people do have a good background. And
Yeah.
of course, this equilibrium, that there would be more women in the matchmaking industry, also comes from the clients that matchmaking is addressing to. So we really address to successful people, and there's more successful females that are single than successful men that are single that would date on the same level. Sometimes men, in average, they wouldn't necessarily need to date on the same level, but women, they have always the expectation to date on the same level. Also,
Yeah.
someone who is as successful as them in terms of, for instance, university degree, in terms of position. and men in general, they would also date an average downwards. That's why there's not an equilibrium from the client side. But of course, through the recruiting and through the reaching out actively to potential matches, we can really work on that.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's really interesting. I mean, that makes sense. I suppose. Well, for successful men, then they look at both successful women and maybe more entry level women, let's say it like that. And then for women, they might not be so open so they have a smaller palette of choice to pick from. Yeah.
Yes, probably it's also still how the society is structured. I mean, also just in terms because women they also when they want to have children, right? They also do
Yeah.
have the option to stay at home, for instance, and then there's would be the partner who would support. So it's still in the DACH region. We still do have quite this society structure. Also, when we do, of course, have feminists and everyone who wants to change that, but it's just natural given that it's the women who would give also birth. So that's why there might be also an disequilibrium.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. I haven't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
And so what's the age, more or less, like how old are your clients, the age range? I'm curious. And we know these are busy, successful individuals, professionals who don't necessarily have time to be on apps and organize their own dates. But so typically, what kind of population do you end up managing? Tell us more.
So really from the position wise, I mean, it's true that there is a lot of people who don't necessarily have a lot of time. They are really busy, but we do also work with really educated and people that have good positions, but not the very busy ones that really just value the service because it's confidential and because it's very personal. So first of all, there's really a wide range of clients. So also wide range in terms of industry, in terms of level of the position. Like really from a teacher to top manager, there would be everyone. So it's really a wide range. And yes, what was the other question, pardon?
So, like, what's your ideal client? If you have one, right?
Yes. So of course, international minded. So that's very important. And yes, in terms of age, because you asked the age, it starts quite young. So our youngest match was 27. And then we go up to at the moment to 55 approximately. We do also have members that are older, but we are not actively serving them yet. So really this range, I would say 25 to 55. This is a huge majority of the clients.
Very interesting. So you mentioned the duration. You mentioned the program is for 12 months. So you said also 85% of people who take on the program are likely to find love. Is this what are we talking about? Commitment, family, marriage? What's the end goal? I suppose it's different for each and every client, right? So you have to define success with them before you even go on that journey, right?
Yes. So of course, also success is really usually always when they decide to see the person again and when they really date then long term. And then of course we have the two different kind of age groups. I would say the younger ones probably to 40, up to 40, and then not necessarily sometimes also, but they still want to have children. And then the other group, they are divorced or have never been married, that are older from 40 to 55, and they are then either looking for a second time for marriage, for a life partner, or they are still looking for their life partner. But usually it's really I mean, in all cases, it's that they are looking for a committed long-term relationship.
Yeah, you mentioned that. So there's a level of
That's very important. Yes.
commitment that's required to engage into the
Yes.
program. Okay.
Yes. It's also it's really important that they are ready and also ready for the relationship and really want to commit. So that's why if they wouldn't be ready, we would do coaching with them. Some they wouldn't be ready, but they really want to have a relationship, and
Yeah.
then we do the coaching.
So how do you assess readiness in that way?
So usually we do ask, I mean, first of all, you can assess it through questions. So you can, for instance, ask the client if she or he is still in contact with the ex and why,
Oh,
or do you
yeah.
still have pictures of your ex? Are you still dreaming of your ex? So it's really about the past. If the past is still
Solved.
influencing the present.
Okay. If the
And
past is still present.
yes. And if this is the case, then you're probably not ready, and then you still have to work on that.
Yeah.
But usually clients, they also know it themselves. So if they don't know, we could do a relationship readiness exercise with them. But usually also when you talk with them, you would have a good feeling if they are ready for a
For a
relationship.
relationship. What is
Yes.
your plan for Valentine's Day? Are you going to support singles? Are you going to support committed? I mean, not support couples, but I mean, how do you include perhaps, right, people who are not yet matched? Is there
Yes.
anything, any campaign that you're running? Tell us.
Yes, we are running a campaign with our new partners. So we have this new partnership I told you about with the personal stylist. So we really do focus on dating tips and also styling
Awesome.
tips for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So this is something new, and it's also new because of our partner, and it's great to have for Valentine's Day. And we also will have a countdown on social media for Valentine's Day with
Oh, nice. Yeah.
different dating tips. Yes.
Because I mean, I know it's a celebration that people, are either excited or anxious about, um, or maybe oblivious to it as well. I mean, I I would say in my line of work, there's little, conversations on the matter, but we ought to perhaps, and that's why I wanted to have the live today. We might make this more known to people. There's a service out there. There is actually an option for people who are serious about outsourcing their dating lives, like they outsource their career development to me, and that's also somewhat new. So a lot of people struggle to understand what I do, and I suppose you also have sometimes to explain yourself in networking events. But overall, what is the reaction when you say you're a matchmaker? How do people, do they want to be part of this? Do they, oh, that's new, or that's weird? How do you see your industry growing? And yeah, tell us a little bit
Yes,
about the
yeah.
expertise.
In general, there's really a trend towards matchmaking and offline matchmaking again, because first of all, I mean, matchmaking is a really old industry. It has
Yeah.
existed for really thousands of years, and then there were the dating apps that came, and then everyone went on the dating apps. But now there's a trend. I mean, statistically also
Go back.
backwards to offline
Okay.
matchmaking, because people do really value the personal relationship, and also they can save time. They have a confidential experience, and they
Yeah.
really find someone who fits their values, and it's not at all superficial. So this personal experience is really valued by people. And of course, also when I do speak at networking events, everyone finds it super interesting and is
Yeah.
very interested in it. Probably also because it's a very personal topic. So everyone would be also it would be beneficial for everyone,
Yeah.
basically. Also, those who are in relationships, they might benefit from a relationship advice that
Yeah.
we do provide. Or we also do provide, for instance, dating tips for dating spots in Switzerland. We have a brochure on our website. So that's also great for people who are already in relationships, because it's once you're in a relationship, you really do have to work on the
Yes,
relationship with
to
your
develop
partner
that. Yeah.
to make it work, and really always to continue to not losing interest into your partner, to continue asking questions as you did in the
Yeah.
first date. That's very important.
So, and you serve all kind of couples. I mean, gays, not gays, religious, not religious. It's a diverse group of dating dating
Yeah,
folks.
so yeah, so
Diverse
actually,
group of yes, singles ready. Yeah.
yeah, actually we do serve only heterosexual couples, because you always have a specialization as a matchmaker. So you really want to have a big database for
Okay,
those that you
understood.
serve,
You
and
can, yeah, at
also
this point you plan to
you
diversify.
yes, you can't really serve everyone. For instance, also if you want to have, if you're Jewish and then you really want to find someone who is as well Jewish, of course I would have people, but I don't have necessarily the
It's
biggest
not,
database.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
would
yeah.
be someone who
Who
is
is specialized
specialized
in
on
that?
that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
exactly as well for gay,
yeah,
homosexual people. There will be also a matchmaker who's
yeah,
specialized on that, and that would be also yeah, perfect for them then.
yeah, yeah. Makes
Yes.
sense. How do people engage with you at this point if they decide this might be for me? Like, what's the first step? Like, sign up on their website. There's probably a newsletter that you. So, what could be the next step for people who are watching us now and are excited to know?
Yes. Yeah, so of course we do have a newsletter, but the easiest way would be to book a call via our website. So it would be a Zoom call with me,
Yeah,
and they receive information if they want to if they want to ask questions. And of course, what is really important also for me is to really get to know them. And
yeah,
then there would be a second step would be the meeting in person. So I meet everyone in person before they
yeah,
sign a contract. I mean, it's important for both sides. They meet me in person, they see I'm trustful, and I also see them and really can evaluate who could be already a potential match, because
yeah,
I don't take on clients if I don't really have their first one or two matches already.
yeah,
So that's very important, that I also know I can really work with them, and they will have success working with me and will also be happy.
yeah, yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. So if they want to speak with people who have been placed, I don't know if they, because sometimes people ask me, can I speak to former clients, happy clients, or unhappy? We don't have that many unhappy clients, luckily. I suppose we make that happen. And maybe that's something that you can offer them as a reassurance. Yeah.
Yes, so certainly for some clients, I mean, there's a lot of clients they don't want
Oh
to
yeah,
make it
privacy for
public
sure.
that they
Yeah.
use a matchmaker, so they wouldn't even tell their friends. But of
Yeah.
course, there's also clients who are open about it and they would speak about it, but it's not the majority. The
Right.
majority really wants to keep it very private and confidential.
I understand.
Yes,
You buy
yes.
time and you also buy this discretion for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, because also clients, passive members, they would also not see each other. So that's very important. And before we would propose the profile, we also always propose only anonymous profiles. So that's also important. And before we would suggest it to any potential match, we always ask client before, and as well the potential match, if we are allowed to
To
share
make
the
an intro.
profile.
Yeah.
We really get first the consent from everyone when we would share it.
Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's matchmaking GDPR compliance.
Exactly. Yes. No. That's extremely important. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, if the person or client is, for instance, in a position where he's like publicly known, or
Yes. Oh my
if
God.
he's
Yeah.
very he or she is very that's really a
Protective.
focus on privacy and doesn't want to be on the social media, and then that person probably also doesn't want to be on any online dating app.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Meeting all your colleagues from from work in the app, that would be, yes, that that would be a complex. Well, again, it depends how open you are about these things. Well, thank you so much, Elena. I can't think of more questions, but I'm sure the audience has more, and they'll probably reach out to you directly and ping you. And I suppose you only take singles,
Yes.
committed
Exactly.
singles. So if there's any
Yes.
committed single out
Yeah.
there, um, hetero who is still looking and who is interested, reach out. Elena will be approachable, whether on LinkedIn or I think Instagram, right? Or I think Facebook as well. I've seen your
Yes.
so Match Maison, covering Switzerland, Zurich, Geneva, London, and now some parts of Germany, Munich, you mentioned.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm excited to see you taking over the DACH region and beyond.
Thank you. Yes.
Really cool to have you today. So, for those of you watching us on Instagram, and later on, you will be able to watch us on YouTube as we record all of this. Again, thank you so much, Elena.
Thank
Maybe
you.
one last piece of advice for people out there who are still struggling to find love. What would you tell them? Hire a matchmaker, or buy time. What would be your advice for them?
Yes. So the best advice is really also to be really clear about who you are. So really also do a personality test. Do you really think
Yeah,
about what you want to have in your life, what you want to have in 5 years? So I think really this reflection, this is like a really important part to also find the person that you really are looking for. Because
yeah,
if you're not really sure what you're looking for, then you might date wrong people or people who are not meant for you.
yeah.
So I would really give this advice to really be sure who you are, and really do an analysis for yourself.
Yeah, I'm all about personality testing. I love what you're saying in this intentional, purposeful way of
Yes.
approaching it. Thank you so much, Elena. This was so enlightening. Thank you for watching us today, everyone. And I'll let you go. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye. I am going to end the live.